As a young adult, Thomas Willoughby found his creative tendencies drawing him to the life of a metalworker. He started off learning the trade of a farrier, which is someone who's charged with shoeing and maintaining horses, but found he just couldn't stay away from the fire, creating works of art that not only take hours, but involve learning new techniques each time.
There's an old blacksmith saying that you have to build it here before you can build it there. I was always born with a creative mind, I guess, and I never knew that until about 5 years ago. Finally, it sunk in. People said, "Oh, Tom, you're creative, and I thought, I'm just doing what I've been doing since I was 2. And a lot of the stuff I did when I was a kid got me in trouble, but it helped me become creative. Been around horses since I was like 14 years old. And I used to watch the blacksmith come and shoe horses at a barn I worked at. So I always thought it was interesting. But then I joined the Marine Corps, and then they transferred me to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I met a farrier, a blacksmith, that worked at Penn National Racetrack. He was a great friend and still is. He kind of took me in on my days off from the Marine Corps. I would go to the racetrack with him and help him shoe horses. It was kind of on a dare. He said, "I bet you can't do this, I bet you can't do that." And I was the kind of guy that said, "Well, I'll see if I can." So when I got out of the Marine Corps, I started riding with him to the racetrack, and we had a forge and we would make things. And I became a farrier by trade, but on my time off, I would work in the fire. All the blacksmithing skills of making that horseshoe goes right into blacksmithing, all of them, because like I say, the principles of blacksmithing, you're using that to make a horseshoe. There's thousands of horseshoes, but if you go through the gamut of learning all of them same processes, it's very easy to go from that to making a gate, because you've got all those skills on that anvil and that hammer. I'll give you a good example. When I went to horseshoeing school, at Midwest Horseshoeing Schools. It was in Macomb, Illinois. Every student had to make a horseshoe. Me and a friend of mine were there. And I said, "I ain't gonna make no horseshoe. I'm gonna make a spatula." The same skills that I learned to get this metal hot and draw it out. Draw it out means stretch it. And I made this little old spatula. And then he said, "All right, turn in your horseshoes." And I walked up there and I said, "Here's a spatula." He hung the spatula up behind his anvil, the instructor, and when he sold the place, he took that with him. Most guys start out doing kitchen utensils, make a fork, make a spoon. So that's kind of how I did. I started out making spoons and forks, and then I wanted to learn how to make a pair of tongs, the tongs that you actually hold steel with. Because now you got 2 moving parts. Oh yeah, that's kind of cool. So the first pair of tongs I ever made is on the wall in the house, and they look like Captain Caveman did it on a brick. but I still got them, and they worked, and they were ugly, but everything you do, you learn from it. And then if you get around some good blacksmiths. Now see, when I was starting in it, you didn't have YouTube, you didn't have the internet, you just had guys that lived around you. And if you had a guy that was similarly interested in it, like you were, then you can grow, because you say, "Let's try to make a pair of tongs like this." And we look at them. All right, now what do we do? Nowadays, they go to YouTube and it'll show you this step, that step, this step, and not all of them are correct, but at least it can walk you through something. We had that. We didn't have that. So we went to an Abana conference 30 years ago in Studebaker, Ohio, and we watched a fella named Tom Joyce. Tom Joyce, to me, was a wizard. I thought he was magic. And I sat right on the front row of the bleachers and I watched him make things. And me and another friend, Roy Bloom, we sat right next to each other and we watched this fella make faces on the end of a piece of steel with chisels. And I was just amazed. I said, wow, this brought me from not only making spoons and forks, now I can make a face on the end of a piece of steel, make a beard. with chisels. Well, we went home, and everything we saw him do, we tried to emulate. It was just me and Roy back in them days. And me and Roy would say, how do you think we're gonna build that? Well, we gotta do this first, that first. Once again, you're building it in your head. I haven't seen him since, I seen him for 2 days, and it lit a fire in me and my friend Roy Bloom. And we became just enthralled on how to build something, just to create things. I don't like to be in a box. I like to be able to, I like carving wood. I like carving wood as much as I do like forging. I like to draw pictures as much as I like forging. So there's no medium I won't try. I'll mess with clay. I'll mess with anything if I think I could build something. So I've made all kinds of things for all kinds of people. Back when I was shoeing horses and just kind of doing it in the evening, well, I made what Tom wanted to make. So when people ask me to build something for them, I always have to have some way to be creative with their commission. Can I throw in my own little ideas? That's what you got to do, man. You got to still enjoy your work, because you're going to be working your whole life. So you got to enjoy it. And yeah, you can make money any way you want, but if you're not enjoying it, it ain't worth doing.
Find Tom Willoughby's work at willoughbyforge.com.